You are enough unless you're not producing anything for the American economy.
Hello and welcome, listeners and watchers of the Therapy Gecko podcast. My name is Lyle. You might or might not know that. It's fine. It is the 4th of July as of the day I'm recording this. I am here in Washington Square Park in New York City, one of my favorite places on the planet. Every time I come here, it's so lively. It's so beautiful. It's excruciatingly hot, but that's okay because I sometimes feel as though temperature is a thing that can be mentally mastered. You know what I mean? Like, if I believe that I am not excruciatingly hot and sweating to death right now, like if I ignore that, you know, if I'm so engrossed in the conversation that I am having that I am forgetting about how hot I am, I think I can beat the heat. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be so engrossed in these conversations today that I will not even be thinking about the temperature, and I will prove that all physical ailments are simply of the mind. Or they won't, and I'll have a heat stroke and die. But either way, I'm going to talk to people as a gecko. Let's do it.
My name is Judah.
Judah, nice to meet you, man.
Pleasure to meet you, Lyle.
All right, so I'm going to give some context real quick. A lot of the times, like when I walk over here to like set this stuff up, I'll encounter people off camera, and we'll have a little chit-chat because there's so many interesting characters here at this park. And so I saw you, Judah, on my way over here to set up, and you had a little table and 2 chairs, and I believe you had a little sign that said... A little sign. What did the sign say?
The sign today said, "What sparks your..." Ah, damn, I already can't remember.
I think it said, "What sparks your imagination?"
What sparks your curiosity, or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
And so you had a sign, and it's like we're kindred spirits, as they say, both set up in the park to have conversations.
I mean,
with people.
my sign isn't green, but
here's what I thought was really interesting about you is I was talking to you, and I was like, I came up to you, and I was like, "Hey, man, are you making content?" And you were like, "No, I'm just chatting with people." And I'm like, oh my God, you're so you're so much purer of a human being than I am. You know, I feel like I honest to God, swear on my life, this is something I would really enjoy doing, even if there wasn't
a
camera here. But I like I like to make stuff.
But there's so many good lines, and they have to be captured, and they have to be shared. I mean, you know, like who else will talk about their knees exploding in chainmail? Like someone's got to capture that. Yeah, and that's your role.
Well, that's your. So let's talk about this. You you said you've been doing chats with people in the park for
6 years. I just set up a table, 2 chairs, and a sign, different forward question each time, and people can write in this little journal if they want. But it's really about the conversation. I got inspired because there were just a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of characters all over the world, especially in the city, especially in Washington Square Park, and I didn't want to just walk up to people and be like, hey, and start talking to them or stick a microphone in their face or something. So I want to create a platform. So best I could come up with was a table and 2 chairs, and sat down and waited to see what happened. And a lot of people, when given the chance to express themselves, they will. And if you kind of approach them with no judgment, with an open mind and just an open ear, people will be vulnerable. People will open up, and it's a beautiful thing when they do, I gotta say.
It's so interesting because, like, again, you and I, we were essentially are doing the same thing, but there's such a different dynamic to the fact that you just do it, and you don't have a camera rolling or a microphone rolling. Yeah. Tell me about that. Do you think that significantly affects your conversations?
So it's so interesting because, like, I would ask people, hey, like, if there was a camera here, do you think you'd answer different? It's a mix. Some people said yes, some people said no. But I actually, just recently, just the last couple times I did it, I actually have a microphone now because it's just sitting there, inconspicuous. It's not like, not a microphone like this, just a recorder. Because I had way too many conversations that were just absolute gold. And in so many ways, just like really stuff that I don't necessarily need to share, but I definitely want to recollect on and like refer back to for my own reference.
Yeah.
And it was just slipping through my fingers. Like I look back at my journal from 3 years ago and been like, just had the most mind-bending conversation about life with Lyle, and I wouldn't have known what the fuck they said. Like, I just will have no recollection of it whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt like, okay, so this is sliding through my fingers, and I want to be able to potentially turn this into some art in the future. So I don't know, and probably I like writing, so probably writing based, but I just have no real recollection, and I wasn't disciplined enough after each time to go and write about it or anything like that. So instead, I was like, let me just start recording it, and then I can work with it later. So I have a little disclaimer. It just says, like, if you'd like not to be recorded, let me know, and we'll see. So far, people have been just as, the same, but I'm sure for some people, if there's a recorder there, they would be different.
So how did you first get into doing this?
Well, it was just curious. I mean, I was just sitting here. I was really high. I was like, damn, there's a lot of really cool stories around here, aren't there?
Yeah.
And, but again, like, especially as a man walking up to people, they're going to be like, what's the catch? Like, what's in it for you? Why are you talking to me?
Sure.
That's New York City in a nutshell. But once you kind of make it more consensual and they come over, like, hey, what's this? Just like you did, you'll find that people are just willing to chat.
Well, it's nice. I like doing the form. I'm not a big, sometimes I've done this, but like the run and gun street interviewers. Like I feel like it's nice to set up a thing and like people can come to you
because you're creating a space. You're not catching people unaware.
Sure,
like it's like right now when we're doing this. Like, yes, we're in the park, but this is a space. It's not just a pavement.
Right.
Because you set up the chairs, the sign, and everything. Yeah.
Right.
And of course, can't forget the Gecko part.
So, I feel how did you start doing this?
So one day I just got a table, 2 chairs off Facebook Marketplace and just sat.
And there was no impetus. There was no
like real trigger. Oh, I mean, I think like 2 years earlier, I'd seen someone set up with like a big folding table with a microphone that said, "Tell me your secrets."
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, do people actually tell you their secrets?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, you just hear, and people will just come up and just spill their secrets to a microphone." He goes, "Man, I've heard the wildest shit. You wouldn't even know the half of it." And I think that was like planted a seed.
Sure.
And then I was high and unemployed 6 years ago, and then was like, screw it, let me try. What's the worst that can happen? I spent a nice day in the park. Yeah. And what inspired you to dress up as a gecko and put green on your face and get people to just be themselves?
Well, I started doing this as I mainly do it as like a phone call thing.
Right.
But today, I actually, it's funny. I sat down to record the phone call version of this podcast. This episode was going to be a phone call episode, and I got like 20 minutes in, and I was like, I cannot sit in this room right now. I have to go outside. So I was like, it was basically like right now is my version of like, you know what? It's a nice day. Let's do class outside today.
Okay.
Kind of a thing.
Wait, so do people just like, do you say when you're going live and then people ring in? Like, how does that work?
I go live on Twitch, and people call me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But so I have a question for you. Do you consider yourself an open book? Do you talk a lot about your what was your question today? What sparks your?
It was damn. It was what memory sparks joy?
Okay, what memory sparks joy for you? Do you answer your own questions?
Yeah, I was I really want to tell you, but I know you have a large platform. But fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. I was on a very powerful psychedelic with my friends on a lake, a frozen lake in February, not this past February, February, and we took acid, and we just went outside, not really knowing it was cold, but we were like played it for 8 hours like little kids, just like running around. You know how like your mom could just like let you out of the house and you just come back 8 hours later and you did who knows what, but you had a great time.
Yeah,
it was because like often when you're on psychedelics you kind of have like a childlike wonder, and we were just playing on the lake, and there was this one moment where we had this game where the lake was frozen, and we would run as fast as we can without slipping, and then like slide as far as we could, and we would just like see
like you guys
who could get the furthest,
Yeah,
and we're all like giggling 25-year-old kid, like it was fun as hell. And at one point we just like paused, and the sun was setting, and we were in this valley, and like the mountains were lit up this orange hue, and it was like beautiful, and It stunned us. Like, it stunned us into silence. And at that moment, as we're stunned into silence, there's this huge V formation of geese, like, passing over, like, migrating or something. And there's, like, a squawk. And there's this lone squawk that just echoes through this pristine valley. And it felt like I was in a painting. And we just look at each other. We were like, that was such a moment that was just pure and wholesome and beautiful, and I think we've peaked.
No. Well, by the way, first of all, I'm sorry, but first of all, the funny thing to me that I was going to say is, like, when you were like, oh, I want to tell this story, but I don't know if I should, I was expecting something way worse than just you took acid.
Just acid. Yeah, honestly, it's not that big of a deal.
This is everyone here.
Some employer
half
will
the
see
people
that,
in this
are on acid
mile
right
radius of us are on acid right now, man.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But that's really beautiful, though. That's really nice. How many of your friends were there?
It was 3 of my friends, yeah, and it was the only time that group, it was like, different disparate friends from different groups, but it was the only time the 4 of us got together, and goddamn, it was a good group.
How long ago was that?
That was 5 or 6 years ago, yeah. Probably around the time, 2019. So a long time ago. Chasing that high ever since.
Really? You say that you peaked, right? Do you believe in, it's funny, I've been thinking about that concept, the concept of peaking.
Yeah.
And like, having best stages of your life and, is youth better than being 80 or, you know what I mean? Like can you put qualitative, can you objectively or no, I guess it's not objectively.
Okay.
Do you have subjective definitions of parts of your life that were better or worse than others?
I think, if you're going through some big life changes or there's harm to people in your life, that can be worse for sure. But I think what you're alluding to is the fact that, people look on youth and they're like, oh, it was so good to be young. And in many ways it is, right? Like, you're in some of the best health of your life. You can do some of the most stuff in your life. You're in many cases, the most attractive you'll be in your life for some people subjectively. Again, I'm not saying it's necessarily true.
You ever seen Helen Mirren?
And zaddies, bro. I mean, that's like in that right now. I'm hoping to be a zaddy myself.
Yeah.
But actually, it's interesting that you clue the clue deeper into that. Bring it back to psychedelics. as a child, everything is so new, and as you move through the world and you're building this model of the world, and it's like, whoa, like everything's cool, exciting, like even just something like going to a new place is like, whoa. But as you get older, and it's not just that you get more experience, that you also get more routine, you start packing more things into your life. Like, how many times do you remember brushing your teeth?
No idea.
Exactly. You don't remember the distinct times. You've done it thousands of times, but you don't really remember it because your brain just condenses it.
I can probably count how many times I've flossed, though.
Don't we all, right? As a dentist always says that, right? But, but at the end of the day, like, you hang out with the same people, you do the same things, your brain's going to condense it down.
Right.
So, and as you get older, you just get more to the same people, so your brain just shrinks time, and it's like, that's why youth seems like it's so long and so exciting, but if you live your life differently, and I've spoken, and, yo!
Oh, hey, you know this guy?
Yo, he's a great guy.
What's your name?
Hi, Gecko. I'm Adam. I just had 6 vegan hot dogs today.
You had 6 vegan hot dogs?
Yeah.
How much is that the equivalent of 0 regular hot dogs, right?
Yeah. Calorie-wise, like nutrient efficiency, yeah.
How many calories are in 6 vegan hot dogs?
I don't know. They didn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me any details behind it.
Wait, who's they?
The guy that ran the hot dog eating contest.
Oh.
I only had 6, but the winner had 10.
You weren't that far off.
I know. It was so close. I could have had it. Wait, but am I interrupting therapy right now?
A little bit, but that's okay.
It's okay. It's all part of it.
Yeah, we all therapize in our own way.
Well,
Yo, is the green, does that work as sunscreen?
No. I'm probably in some form of physical danger right now.
Do you have AC under there?
No, but a nice gust of wind just came by. That's nice.
That's nice, right?
Love a good gust. Come on. And I love this guy, too. Judah? Yo, Judah's the man. I don't know why he would be in therapy because he's so cool. And
Wait,
hey, everybody needs therapy.
What this is this? Wait, how do you know this guy?
Is this your Canadian coin?
Wait, that's a Canadian coin?
Looks like it.
He actually sat down in my little project.
Oh, this guy Adam sat down in your project.
Adam sat down on my project.
What did you and Adam talk about?
I don't even remember. It was years ago.
It was like 2 years ago. But it turns out I learned that he also went to Binghamton like me.
Oh, really?
We went to the same college.
We have different entrepreneurial ambitions, and we're similar in a lot of ways.
That's cool. Yeah. Wait, when did you guys meet?
Yeah, 2 years ago we met.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Right. Okay, yeah, I guess that explains. But you guys are still friends, it seems.
Yeah, and then I saw him in the park a couple weeks ago too. And
Yeah.
Hey, I know you.
We were doing a giant hug. We were doing this thing called a super hug.
Yeah?
Have you ever heard of this?
No,
I
what's
feel
a
like you
super-
would be very much about this.
Well,
A
maybe.
super hug,
Maybe. What's a super hug?
basically, you put your left arm up, and the other person puts their left arm up, and then you touch hearts and give a deep hug for at least, I think, 10 seconds.
It's like a virgin orgy.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a safe orgy. It's
Cool.
like a family-friendly orgy. And, you legitimately, feel calmer afterwards.
That's cool. Have you hugged anyone today?
Not yet.
You want a hug?
Yeah.
All right.
Left arm up.
But we got a hug for the camera.
Left
no,
arm up.
Oh,
you
they're
gotta get on
hugging
your
right
knees.
now.
Hey, yo.
Wow, look at that. Pride Month has extended into July.
Oh, and the one
You guys are hugging a long time.
slap, but you can't, rub. 'cause if
You can you can slap, but you
Oh,
cannot.
okay.
Okay,
What about a
that
little
makes sense.
squeeze?
I'm just gonna sit here while they hug.
That released that released the serotonin.
Yeah. Do you want one too, Gecko?
What?
Do you want one too?
Sorry, I have to finish this interview, but later we can do that.
Good to see you, Big Gecko.
Good to see you too, man.
I'll see you, Judah.
Good to see you, Adam.
How was that hug?
It released some serotonin. Yeah,
That's
I
good.
feel squeezed.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wait, I completely forgot what we were talking about beforehand, but I guess it
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
really
no,
matter.
just don't condense your memories. You can live life differently. I spoke to old people who live there. They're like, oh, my best time was in my 60s.
Yeah.
Like-
I love that. I remember coming out here to do this podcast, and I talked to some guy who was like 58, and he's like, "Oh, life's the best it's ever been."
Yeah, no,
You know?
I think it's bullshit of the youth that youth has to be the best. I think our society tells us that, our media tells us that, but honestly, no, I think your best times are it's here. It's how you react to things that are happening in your life. Your life will always be happening. Question is, how are you gonna react to it?
My dad is 66 years old, and I was talking to him on the phone last week, and he was like, I've noticed that the less years I have left on this earth, the less anxiety I have. It's true. I think it's fun. I'm 27, and I'm having weird existential crises about death and whatnot. But it's like you see those dudes in their 70s just chilling. They don't give a fuck. Yeah, they're not. They could die any fucking day, and it's like who.
Well, it's one of those things that when you have the prospect of it being taken away, then I feel like you can also value it more. You
Definitely,
get a
yeah.
cold, and you're like, fuck, I just want to breathe again through my nostrils.
Right.
But then once you can, you totally forget all about that.
So, Judah, what's what's next for you in life?
What's
What's
next for
your
me?
ultimate dream, goal, whatnot?
Ultimate dream goal. I want to live a day without time.
You want to live a day without time?
Yeah.
You mean a day where you don't check your...
I just do never know it. I wake up and I go to sleep without ever once knowing what time it was.
What's keeping you from doing that?
Myself. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
Do you have any meetings? You have to be
meetings. I just got laid off, so
you don't have any,
less
now's
meetings.
the perfect time
Yeah,
to
now
do
I got
it.
no meetings.
Wait, what did you get laid off from?
Some tech job.
That's cool.
Tech bro.
Was it
bullshit.
an AI, Web3, crypto?
AI thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But going to look for my next AI thing to hopefully not make a part of my personality at all.
So you were working in AI.
Yeah, something like that.
So but I am curious about your perspective as somebody who both values genuine human connection and has worked in AI. Do you think that AI is coming for genuine human connection, or do you think we'll be okay?
I think a lot of the same people who are relying on technology now for connection and it's not doing the same thing are going to be the same people who rely on AI for connection and won't be doing the same thing. But will it be easier? I do worry. I mean, there's a lot of kids now who are using it as therapists. And it's not even bad. Have you tried using AI for therapy?
I use AI for therapy all the time, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got some pretty objective, well grounded.
I genuinely do. I like AI for therapy. It's just you have to. I think when people try to make it it's not a friend. It's not your friend.
No.
It doesn't. It's not. You don't. It doesn't love
But
you.
people do lean on it as such, and I think there will be people who do. But there's also gonna be a generation of kids who look at this and be like, "Fuck that counterculture," and they'll be anti-AI, they'll be anti-tech, they'll have flip phones and all that.
Yeah.
They already do. They're already doing that.
Yeah. I was talking to someone. I went to this like film festival at a dive bar like a few weeks ago.
Ooh,
and I was talking to this guy who's like in a band, and he was like in his 30s, and he was like talking about like, you know, being at this like, I was asking him like what the punk scene is like now, and it's like there's still like, you know, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who are like goths. You know what I mean?
They're still there. They never left.
And it's 2025.
They never left.
It's kind of crazy because it's like back at like people were doing that shit in like the 80s, and they're still doing it.
There's still underground raves. There's still, you know, the kids will be all right.
Kids will be all right.
I think they'll be fucked up in their own way, as we were fucked up in our own way, as our parents were fucked up in their own way. But like they'll be all right.
Do you feel? Sorry, I'm checking my shit to make sure it works. Do you feel fucked up in any ways?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I think one of the reasons why I sit in the park and talk to strangers is because I have like a deep need. I want to be liked by.
Really?
I want to leave a positive impression with everybody I meet. Not necessarily be liked, but at least leave a positive impression.
I have that. I have that exact same desire.
And
of like, I want to leave a positive impression, and I've had like times where because I sometimes people, well, both like in like my personal life and in my Gecko life, like I want people to come away having a positive experience with me. But
my Gecko life just killed me.
I fully submitted myself to the fact that it's never going to be 100. You're never going to be 100% successful.
What do you think of the differences in yourself between your real life and your Gecko life?
Well, Gecko life is like I've told the story on this podcast once, but I'll tell it to you. I'll tell it again. Is so I do like live shows where I dress up as the Gecko, and after my shows I do like a little it's like a free meet and greet. I don't make people pay like a ticket price for it, and like I just stand around and I meet everyone after the shows. And I did a show in Austin, Texas once, and there was like 100 people in a line. I sat there for like an hour and a half, like meeting everyone, like, and it was very important to me that, like, you know, in those interactions, like I want people to come away feeling good. And I was like thinking about that a lot, and I was you know, whatever. And I do it, and like there was like a security guard at the venue, and he was like, I've never seen anyone who played this venue stay after the show and do that. And that made me feel so good. And then, Judah, next morning, this is just me being like mentally ill. I check my own subreddit, which is a thing you only do if you're mentally ill. And I looked, and like there was a post on my subreddit being like, I am no longer a fan of Lyle. And it was like, I was at Lyle's Austin show last night, and I went to his meet and greet, and I told him I was high, and he gave me a weird look. And I told him, and I also told him it was my birthday, and he did not even say happy birthday. And I was like, and she was like, I bought merch and I'm trying to sell it if anyone wants to buy it. And I was like, come on, man. And you know what's funny?
The dangers of a parasocial relationship.
I've told the story on the podcast before, but whatever. Like, and it's funny. I told that story on the podcast, and then I got a comment on my podcast from her, and she wrote something like, "LOL, sorry I was being a bitch" or something. And I wrote back, I was like, "Oh, it's totally cool,
good,
man. Happy late birthday," which was kind of nice because in life you never ever get closure like that.
No, it's true.
You know?
That's nice. Even from a little interaction.
Yeah, but I have stuff like that where I'm like, you know, or like I don't know. You ever walk away from a conversation being like, "Oh man, I think I was pretty annoying in that conversation."
Yeah,
I feel like I was weird.
Yeah, quite a few times. Yeah, it's an ever improving discipline and art to try to. I think if you're not looking back and cringing, then you're not growing.
Yeah, I agree. You
know,
I agree.
I'm still a firm believer in that. I feel like, you know, you should probably try to keep the cringing less hard, but still keep cringing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't want to beat yourself up.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to have this is one of the things I feel like I talk about a lot. It's like there's an optimal level of conscientiousness to have.
Tell me more.
Like some people are so conscientious and don't want to offend people so much, and they don't want to cause any amount of ruckus, so they never take any chances or ever do anything ever.
Okay.
And then there's some people who are not conscientious at all, and they just like fucking full send it all the time every day, which of course lands people in trouble as well. So you want to have the right amount. I feel like you want to have the right amount of conscientiousness, skewing towards having less conscientiousness.
You know what? I think I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
It's Aristotle's golden mean.
Yeah, Aristotle's golden mean.
Of course.
Is that? Did he come up with that?
Well, he basically just said how with all types of qualities, like, between courage and cowardice, like, if you're too courageous, you'll get yourself killed in combat.
Yeah.
You're too, coward, you'll never stand up for anything, and there's something in between.
I'm going to give you an example. Your friend Adam.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy. I really did not want to hug him.
I know, but he is the kind of person who will want to hug everybody.
But in my head I was like, oh man, I guess in my head I was like, I felt like kind of a jerk.
I should have said that and be like, he'll get the makeup on you,
No, it's not a big deal at all. But I was like, oh fuck, I'm being kind of. But also it's like, you have to have the right amount of like, whatever, just fucking hug the guy versus like, you know what, I'm gonna not. He also, I'll just throw, he is a club promoter. Oh, really?
Or was a club promoter at some point.
It seems like a nice gentleman.
Yeah. That's the only other thing I really know about him, to be honest. I don't remember anything else.
People ask me this question all the time. I truly never know how to answer it. But what's the most memorable conversation you've had?
I mean, do you want me to get dark, deep, funny? I mean... give me some keywords.
Let's do a dark one and a funny one.
Dark one? I spoke to someone who, he comes up to me, his skin's all yellow, not in a racist sense, like he's jaundiced.
Sure.
And he just goes, I got 3 months left to live.
Yeah.
What advice would you give me?
Whoa.
And I'm a 25-year-old kid. I was like, fuck. I don't remember what I said to him, but I remember... he cried and we hugged. So I think it made a difference to him.
Wow.
I tried to be as upbeat and positive as I could. But, man, I mean, that was a hard one. I mean, because all this stuff about it's going to be all right and all that stuff.
Was he
all
an
those
older
platitudes.
guy? Was he a younger guy?
He was, like, probably in his 60s, you know.
Okay. Did you keep in touch with him at all?
No. And then he just walked away. And, I mean, I think a lot of the beauty of the conversations is when they just kind of... they don't keep going, and it's just kind of, that's the interaction of itself.
Yeah, it's where you're like, did I hallucinate that?
Yeah. So that was a heavy hitting one. I mean, on a more lighter sense, I guess.
Hold on, before we move on.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how long did you talk to this guy for?
It's hard to remember. I mean, this is years ago. Probably like half an hour or so. I mean, most of my conversations go like 30 minutes to an hour.
You guys cried together? Do you remember what it said? What was the point where you started tearing up, or was it just kind of like a gradual
I think
thing?
it's when we were trying to focus on what he had lived, and like examining the people who have been there for him, and like taking gratitude for all that.
Yeah.
And we discussed how it's so difficult often to talk to the people who you love and tell them the things that you love about them. Like for some reason people get really awkward when they start saying what they love about you, but, like, it's way easier to be critical. And, like, because when someone makes you feel bad and then being like, well, this is how you do X, Y, and Z. But, like, we choke up and it's harder to get that out. I think we were talking about how he's like, I haven't said that enough to the people I love in my life. I need to go back. I need to tell X, Y, and Z this. And I need to ask for forgiveness.
Who did he have to tell?
And then he had a daughter. I believe he had a daughter, and who he was, like, just getting back in touch with once he got his terminal illness. Yeah, his shit's not not light, but it's real, and it's real and it's happening around us all the time.
Oh yeah. You know what freaks me out a little bit is that death is not like an event at the end of your life. it happens every second.
Interest.
You ever think about death is a thing that happens every day?
Yeah.
Every moment once. I mean, that's what I get existential about.
Yeah.
Is you think it's...
Well, there's two ways you could take that. You could be like, death is happening around you to all the people around you. Eventually, it hits you.
Right.
Or you are dying every moment, and you will never get the past you back, and all you can do is move forward, which is weirdly inspirational.
Right. Well, that's how I think about it. I don't know. I think that is. I was talking about the conscientiousness spectrum.
Yeah,
I think that's an overly conscientious way to live.
Okay.
I think that's why. You should think about the fact that you're going to die because it puts a little bit of pressure on you to like do certain things.
If you
think about it too much, you can see
you
paralyzed.
can't actually live every day like it's your last. Otherwise, you will not have a savings account.
Exactly. Too much consciousness is bad.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah.
You don't want to be. You want. There's optimal amounts of consciousness. I think. Okay. What's the funny one?
Funny. Okay. Funny's a hard one. There was a guy. There was a guy who spoke to me who.
Hold on, sorry, you can keep talking. I'm just checking to make sure.
I'll just speak to myself. I'm used to doing it anyway.
Yeah,
there was this guy who, he sat down and he just does this and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just talking to people." And then he does this and he just like falls over. I'm not doing. He like falls over in the chair, like spends like 20 seconds studying it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
He's a clown. He guy's a professional clown.
Oh, he's a clown?
He's a fucking professional clown.
No, he's a fucking asshole. That's such a dick thing to do.
Well, he wasn't falling on me.
If someone came up and was like, "Hey, can I sit there?" and then just started like destroying my setup, I'd be like, "Fuck you."
In his defense, he was just moving the chair around.
Okay.
He was good at it.
Right,
he was good. He wasn't like knocking over the sign or anything like that. But then he would like put down his thing and like it would like knock over. He's like the dude was like so clumsy in like a clean way. I was like, I respected it. Okay. And he was also a comedian. He was
I feel that.
He was also fucking hilarious.
Okay.
So that was just. But the guy was just like having me in stitches the whole time, and he was just like, you're one of these people, but you meet someone, you're like, oh, you're a character.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like a true character in the purest sense, and like, he forgot his name already, but yeah, he was funny.
Yeah. So maybe he wasn't. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I think the part of me that wants to, like, if someone came up and did that and was like destroying my stuff, I think I would have, there's like two wolves or whatever, and I would definitely have one of the wolves in my mind, being like,
rip
fuck
his
this
face
guy,
off, yeah.
and then the other wolf would be like, it is pretty funny.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny to do that.
It was. You had to see it. It's a very clowning is a very got to see it to believe it kind of thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow, Judah.
Yeah.
This is so cool. This is so awesome that you've been doing this for.
I appreciate what you do too. I've been following your stuff for a while, and honestly, it's remarkable what you get people to open up about.
Oh, thanks,
and
man.
then what the range of the human condition that you capture is, I think, one that anthropologists in the future will have a wonderful time going through.
You know what's funny is I feel like, I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have. I can't imagine I've covered many topics that you have not already.
From different angles.
Sure.
Yeah, from different angles. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the same book translated in two different ways.
Yeah. I find that
one very green, and
Yeah. Well, I find that a lot of humanity struggles and joys are quite common. Like, thoughts aren't particularly unique, nor are situations, nor are feelings.
Tell me if you agree with this. I feel like these kinds of things makes you believe in the power of cliches.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because I read that line recently. It really stuck out, and I'm like, oh, because you can say never judge a book by its cover. You never, always treat everybody with kindness like you treat yourself. And it's true. It's true, but you don't really internalize that lesson until you put yourself in these kind of situations and expose yourself to people's actual more deeper and more nuanced situations and stories that it starts to really internalize, and then that's how it actually translates into action. Because just hearing it does not translate into action. And that's partially what this is an exercise of, is repeatedly making sure that I don't jump to conclusions, that I don't create a space of judgment and that sort of thing. So that's I
like that. Okay, that's gonna be my takeaway from our conversation. Perfect. Is don't jump to conclusions.
Don't judge a gecko by its skin.
Beautiful. Judah, is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
The people in the computer?
Yeah.
This is also a cliche, and I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but you are enough. And that's okay.
Oh man. Oh, I feel like I always wonder about that.
Oh no! Oh shit! My parting message has a question. Why?
Your parting message. I feel like I just had a conversation with someone on the show about this, but I don't know if. I
want to hear. No, no, you can't say that and then walk away.
I have two wolves.
Okay. What's one wolf?
Well, one wolf. I think one wolf is very capitalist in the sense of like, no, you must produce value of some kind,
or push yourself
through your extrinsic. Extrinsic actions.
Yeah.
And then the other part is more like purely just existing is fine. I outside of myself, like I don't.
So you apply for yourself personally?
Yeah, no, I think about myself personally. I think about other people.
But you use that wolf to drive you. Like to drive you to do things.
Yeah,
and
no,
that's good.
like on a larger scale, I do believe like everyone is enough, like as they are. Like I don't think you should have to like.
I'll change. What about this message? All right.
Well, no, your message can be whatever it is. You don't have to change your message.
I'm not gonna. Just a little asterisk there.
Yeah.
All right. You are enough, unless you're not producing anything for the American economy. In which case. You can go fuck yourself, just like the big, beautiful bill told you to go fuck yourself too.
Yeah, that's a good asterisk. Yeah. I guess, well, okay, no, on my personal level, right, what bothers me about the you are enough thing is, like, I have been, at times, deeply unhappy, and when you're deeply unhappy and somebody tells you, hey, man, you're enough, you want to kill them. Because you're like, if I were enough, I wouldn't be so unhappy.
Like when you're depressed and like, it's going to be okay. And you're like, fuck you.
Well, not even that. Be like if you're like miserable or you don't feel good or you feel a yearn or you feel depressed and people go, you're doing fine as you are. It's like, no, I'm if I were enough, I wouldn't be struggling.
Okay. That's fair.
And so that's, I think, that's part of the reason but it's so, it's a weird, I don't know how you would refer to it, but it's paradoxical in that sense. Because also the struggle might be, I feel like there's two ways to be happy, which is, and again, it's a spectrum. It's you can either get everything that you want and be satisfied, or not want anything. And I think happiness lies somewhere in between.
But I don't think you'll get everything you want and be satisfied.
You're never going to get everything.
Exactly. I think even if you get everything you want, you won't be satisfied. So actually, that's where Buddhism comes in, right? Just release yourself from all wants, and you're good.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Yeah,
that's a boring. That's a boring life. Releasing yourself from all wants.
Yeah. I mean,
so.
Life is fun when you chase desires.
It's fun to want
for
things.
sure. Yeah.
I think. Well, I lie somewhere in the middle. Because you're never gonna. I lie somewhere in the middle because if you are the Buddha and you're sitting under
Aristotle,
a tree,
baby, golden mean.
Because like if you're the Buddha and you're sitting under a tree and you never want anything, and then you die, it's like you sat under a fucking tree your whole life. That was stupid. Why'd you do that? But then if you're like, I must have one. But then if you're like, whatever, you're Elon Musk and you're like, I need to have $300 billion and I'm insane, and your wants are completely unchecked and out of control. Then you also miss the point. So you want to again, it's a golden mean.
That's true. Okay, so, okay.
Yeah, what's up?
You are enough.
Yeah.
But you're also gonna grow.
I like that. You're enough as you are,
but there
shall be more.
There shall be more.
I
like that.
Yeah.
You are enough, but there shall be more.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. We can end on that.
All right.
Judah, very nice to meet you, man.
Honestly, the pleasure's all
I
mine.
followed the... You want to shout out your thing?
Oh, no, it's not for that.
Okay, cool.
It's only for people who sit down and speak.
Dude, you rock, man. That's so awesome. I have a deep respect for you, brother. I really do.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I try to keep it intimate. Keep the engagement with the people who actually have a stake in it and not passively, found it or something like that. So yeah.
Very beautiful. Yeah. Very beautiful.
All right, bro. Keep this up. I love what you're doing.
Thank you, Judah.
And can't wait to see what absurdity you edit this into.
Thank you, Judah. I'm sure if you're here often, I'm sure I'll see you again.
Yeah, of course.
Rock and roll. Nice to meet you, Judah.
Take care, man.
See you, man. Man, I gotta say, I'm very inspired by by that conversation. You know, I feel like oh, what's up? Oh, yo, he left his backpack. I'm very inspired by that conversation. You know, oh, someone took a photo. Oh, let me see this photo. Oh, here. Oh, that's such a great photo.
It's your face in it.
Oh, that's such a great photo. Oh, I really like that. Wait, here, hold on. Here, you know what? I have your Instagram.
Send me a picture.
I'll send you. All right, you can take a picture of it right now, and I'll also send you a picture. I'll for the folks watching this on video, I'll post yeah. Check that out. Wow, that's a beautiful Polaroid. I love that. That's really nice. That was a beautiful conversation. I always love meeting another kindred spirit of talking to strangers at the park. I like that he doesn't record it. You know, I feel like I like recording this, but I do feel like if in how old am I? 20 some. If I'm like 55 and the internet has been destroyed, I will continue to try to find ways to do fun shit like this. So who knows? Do you want to talk? What's your name, sir?
I'm Arcus.
A guess?
Sure.
Nice
I'm Arcus.
Arcus?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna give you a fist bump.
The way I greet people.
So what is this pamphlet? It says affinity groups.
It was in my hand when I wasn't paying attention, and it had a hamster on it. It's for Extinction Rebellion, which is a climate activist group that's extremely individual-led. It's not really much of an organization. It's like a collective of lots of individuals.
And are you one of these individuals in this collective?
I mean, vaguely. Yeah, very vaguely. I think, like, Greta Thunberg is, like, the most famous of the individuals.
So Greta Thunberg is in the Extinction Rebellion.
Extinction Rebellion, yeah.
So tell me, what is Extinction Rebellion?
It is sort of just like a citizen-led movement to try to push environmentalism very, very hard in a sort of pressing way, and also to work outside of governmental structures, which are generally not going to be supportive.
Interesting. How does one work outside of governmental structures?
A lot of it seems to involve bothering people and getting arrested.
Cool. When was the last time you bothered somebody and got arrested?
Oh God. 2020?
What'd you do?
Yeah. That was just like, I think that was something everyone was doing back in the day.
Yeah.
Like during Black Lives Matter, Corona times, it was just the thing to do. Bother someone, get arrested, you know.
And
like the clubs aren't open, so you got to do something.
Sure. How long have you identified as an Extinction Rebellionist?
Probably like only a month. There's a dude
who
turned
only
me onto it here. I always see them at protests, and I've like seen them online and stuff doing stuff. But it's like very easy to get into. You basically just like start going to groups to the meetings, or you just like find some people and like sort of sign up.
Cool.
Yeah.
How did okay, so you've only considered yourself an Extinction Rebellionist rebel.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought I had to add something to rebellion to get the ist part of it, but you take it away.
Yeah.
As a rebel.
One of these days, I got to figure out like all the prefixes and suffixes and various etymologies of the English language, so I can just make up whatever words I want.
Bro, you can make up whatever words
and
you
no
want
one
right
can
now.
Stop me. You can't.
Yes, you can.
No,
What do you mean?
can't.
What do you mean you can't?
Because they have their own rules. Like someone tried to pluralize moose the other day.
What do you mean there's rules?
There's rules.
You just handed me a pamphlet about rebelling against the government. I would assume that you're the most anti-rule guy. What do you mean there's rules? What are you talking about?
I guess there's organizational structures which we have control over instead of having control over us.
Yes.
So there are anarchistic organizational structures to our language.
I think if you're an anarchist, you should have intentionally horrible grammar.
No, that's not. I mean, that can be what anarchy is about to you, but that's not what it's supposed to be about.
But how can anarchy be supposed... But isn't the whole point of anarchy that nothing is supposed to be about anything and we create our own realities?
No, that's like nihilism. Anarchy is like a very complex and well-thought-out political movement that was buried after the 1890 anti-anarchist rebellion because anarchists were assassinating political leaders like McKinley and the Tsar of Russia.
Wait, so... the assassination of political leaders was what led to the downfall of anarchy?
Yeah, because literally every world leader in the world got together in 1890 and sort of decided to make anarchism the one political philosophy they would never, ever tolerate. And they sort of made it into like a swear word.
But doesn't anarchy imply violence in some way?
No, not at all. Anarchy is a very, obviously there was some violence involved taking out political leaders, like Luigi Mannione.
Right, yeah, I was like, what about Luigi?
But in general, it's a very anti-war, anti-oppression, anti-state violence, pro-woman, pro-environmentalist movement. You see, like, the closest thing to anarchy functioning today is in Rojava in northeast Syria.
Yeah.
It's called democratic confederalism, and it's, like, very tied to women's rights and to environmentalism. They were, like, a very strong anti-ISIS force in that region, and that enabled them to create, like, a sort of pan-ethnic group out of an original sort of Kurdish struggle-based group. They're the only country in the world where the government legally has to be half women.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Syria?
In northeast Syria, in Rojava. It's really an important place. They don't talk about it a lot here because people like to think that Muslim people are misogynistic and that they don't want peace or democracy. But when you leave them to their own devices, you get the full political spectrum like everywhere else, but you also get, I think, predominantly progressive people.
Okay, so let me ask, all right, so what is your name again?
Arcus.
Arcus. Who are you, Arcus?
Arcus.
I feel like August. Arcus?
Well, that's who I am.
A guest?
Arcus.
Arcus.
A guest?
No.
Arcus.
It just Arcus.
Arcus.
It just sounds like a guest when I say it.
Okay, Arcus. Arcus. Well, okay, listen, Arcus, I'm curious about this. We've spent a little bit of time talking about your beliefs and what you stand for, but what's the biography? Who are you? What are you doing in New York?
I teach wilderness skills.
Whoa.
And I feel like no one teaches it here because it's a city.
Right.
So probably it's where I'm maybe needed most.
Whoa. Who do you teach wilderness skills to?
Whoever wants to learn. I have an Instagram. It's my name and then my last name that's hard to spell.
Your first name is also hard to spell.
Yeah, hard to pronounce, too. But
how do you spell it?
My name is Arcusarbori. And, yeah, it's weird.
How did you get into doing wilderness survival?
I started when I was 13.
Yeah.
And I just took, like, a program similar to the ones that I teach now, and it got me, like, in the door, and then I just really delved into it and decided it was what I wanted to do.
Cool.
For a living. I'm sort of like an anarcho-primitivist, which is like a subsection of anarchy. It's deeply tied to the idea that agriculture and civilization actually created and enforced the systems that we don't like. Like dominance hierarchies and authoritarianism, misogyny, bigotry, anti-homophobia.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like both on an individual level and on a societal level, humanity is a fight between our biological, natural instincts and our higher, more beautiful human consciousness.
100% incorrect.
And
100% false.
And I think that society and the individual is the attempt of reconciliation between higher human principles in conflict with more our basic primitive biological drives.
100% false. That concept came from Freud. It was deeply, deeply racist and anti-indigenous and Victorian. Our instinctive set of morality was designed to help us survive in the wilderness. Everything we think of as good and moral is actually an evolution. It reinforced by evolution.
Right.
Because to have healthy relationships in a beautiful community is to be able to survive in the forest.
Yes.
Which it's hard to do individually. To have healthy gender relationships is to be able to split work between two genders. And to allowing for third genders and non-heteronormativity.
Sure.
Everything, I think, intrinsic to us that makes us beautiful and human is very animalistic and natural. And
But are we? But we have something though as human beings. We have something new that's like we got something that the squirrels don't. We have some higher consciousness that we're reconciling with in some way that creates broader spectrums of good and evil and whatnot.
We have our conscious mind is more a part of our experience, but we have the same elements to our being as other animals, especially like squirrels. Squirrels make complex decisions. Squirrels think months in advance.
Do they really? Are they really?
Yeah, why do you think they bury acorns? They know that those acorns are toxic to eat in the fall because they have too many tannins. If they bury them underground, the snow melt will wash the tannins out, and they'll have something to eat in the spring when there's not a lot of food. Otherwise, they would just eat all of it.
I don't know, man. I listen. I feel like like hamsters, right? You got a hamster on this pamphlet. Like, I don't know if hamsters are thinking about, hamsters aren't like, maybe in a year or two I'll go back to grad school. You know what I mean?
Well, hamsters only live to like 5 years old, so they don't have to think that far ahead.
That's true. That's true, right?
Animals that live a long time think further ahead. Animals that have human-like lifestyles often have human-like types of intelligence, which we value more, and we value the skills they have more, but they're not inherently superior to the skills other animals have.
All right.
They just remind us of ourselves more. And that ties deeply into casteism and racism and capitalism, because if you are an engineer, you're living a type of lifestyle that's very different than a duck. If you're a farmer or a hunter-gatherer, your lifestyle's not actually that different than a duck.
No.
So it's easy for someone to say, you're more like an animal, so you're worse than me. Your skills are more animalistic.
No. It's the, hold on. Well, the idea of, like, humans are a combination of our, like, higher humanness and our animalness is not, there's no I don't put any qualitative judgment to that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just feel like that is one of our central conflicts as conscious beings.
I mean, I feel like when you don't unite your logic and your knowledge with your emotions and intuition and connection to nature and your spirituality, then it makes it easier for you to fall astray, because our minds are able to conceive of falsehoods to an intensity and to a degree that other animals might not really do as much.
What have you ever, like, in your personal life, found yourself slipped away into any falsehoods?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy as a human to learn misinformation and not question that it's illogical.
What was the last falsehood that you slipped into?
God, I don't know. I only know the ones I slip out of. The ones I'm probably slipping into new ones all the time.
How sure are you that you don't live within some sort of falsehood right now?
I'm fairly sure I have a pretty decent idea of how the world works, but I'm sure there's something I believe that's incorrect.
How do you feel like you gained a decent idea of how the world works? Is that even possible?
I think so, in like a very rough and general way.
Sure.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Why don't you never lick your eyeballs? Don't they get dry?
I don't like my... there's been times I've had, I had an ex-girlfriend who licked my eyeball once, and I actually really liked it.
Ex-girlfriend, not current girlfriend?
Not current. It didn't work out, but...
Okay. But current when she licked it, or no?
Well, yeah, current when she licked it,
okay.
No, it wasn't... I get what you're saying, yeah. No, I didn't... I wasn't like, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while, but if you come lick my eyeball?
Yeah.
No.
Just for old time's sake.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you don't get something out of the way in the relationship, you need to try it afterward.
No, I feel like once you guys break up, eyeball licking is...
off the table.
How's your dating life? Are you seeing anyone? Are you...
I don't know. Hopefully at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like a relationship. I'm a wife guy. Aspiring wife guy.
Aspiring wife guy.
Yeah. Aspiring stay-at-home dad.
Yeah. Are you, have you gone on any dates lately? Have you met anyone
Not
fun
in
that
New
you
York,
like?
yeah. But I usually only date people I know, because I feel like your girlfriend should primarily be your bro and also your roommate, and then, like, tertiarily the person you fuck who has a butt that you like.
I will say I actually think dating people you know, it's a double-edged sword, because I think like dating apps and whatnot, they've allowed you to extend outside your network to go on dates.
Yeah.
So that, like, because, like, I don't know, let's say you have like a coworker or a friend or like somebody who's like already in your life.
Yeah.
You express romantic interest in them.
Yeah.
And it's not
like panning out.
It's not. It doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
It's like now a part of your existing life has been corroded in some way, shape, or form. But dating apps is like, if this doesn't work out, it's great because we have two completely separate lives.
Disposable individuals. I mean,
but yes, it also is the double-edged sword of it does make. It does by nature make the process of people more disposable.
I mean, I feel like if you're not in a place where you can have a mature relationship with your friend that involves an attempt at romance that doesn't work, you might also not be in a place where you can have a mature romance with anyone.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's about maturity. I don't know if I don't know if that's about maturity. I think it's about just like emotional. It's just about like general emotion, you know. I think you can be like two mature people who are like, we cannot be around each other every single day because it will cause too much pain. I don't think that's necessarily immature.
Yeah, but then I feel like that's a little. I feel like if you were that deep into the situation where you're like you want to be together and somehow can't, and it's just like dreadful, then I'm not sure that a dating app is gonna change that aspect of. Because then you'll just get, I don't know. That's a niche and unpleasant situation I hope not to enter.
What's your ultimate goal in life?
I just want someone to lick my fucking eyeballs, man. I want eyeballs to lick.
I don't think you can lick your own eyeball. Is that possible?
Probably. I hope not.
Yeah. Bro, you heard the story of that guy who got his ribs removed so he could lick his own eyeball? Well, actually, wait. Well, okay, you know what's crazy? Is if you can get your ribs removed to make it so that you can suck your own dick, I wonder if there's, like, certain cheekbones that you could get removed.
Oh, God.
So that you could lick your own eyeball.
I guess you could remove the eyeball itself.
And then, like pop it out, like Shakespeare style with the skull, and then,
lick it, put it back.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool.
I don't think that guy did that. That was like a rock star. There's no fucking way that guy did that.
Can I ask you something?
Go for it.
I'm curious, based on your social and political ideologies, are you an optimist or a pessimist?
I'm a big optimist.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. Even in because people are scared, man, with big beautiful bill and AI and life, and people are scared. You know, are you optimistic?
Yeah, it's like a parabola. I think like the more you learn, the more depressed and terrible you are.
Sure.
And the worse the world is, and then at some point it just starts like going back again, and you end up happy again.
Yeah.
You're like a happy, like, old, wise monk.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, a depressed teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta make wokeness fun. We gotta make wokeness funny. Like, there's this great quote I heard by a guy talking about Confederate statues.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta make some anti-racist statues, and we gotta beat them with volume. Just, like, hordes of anti-racist statues all over the South.
What would your anti-racist statue be?
I mean, I feel like my version of that would be, like, actually funny and good to be around woke people.
Okay.
Like, because I think humor is mostly based around, like, referencing people I've heard before, being really inappropriate and sexual and a little bit offensive, and being charismatic and just sort of sounding and looking funny.
Uh-huh.
And there's no reason that a super woke, non-problematic person can't be great at that.
Ooh.
And I actually think they should be better at it, because if you're making fun of something that's wrong, that's also, like, inherently illogical, because it's just sort of, like, based and dumb, is, like, an absurdity to it that you're making fun of, and that's super humorous.
Ooh, I like that a
and
lot.
We're just, like, like, we have sticks up our asses, and we don't ever say anything funny, so no one likes us.
Yeah.
But if we just, like, went off on, like, the misogynists and the racists, and talked about how fucking stupid they were, and how they were just, like, dumb idiots, and like we're funny and interesting about it, I think people would jive with it super hard.
Do you have comedians that you like?
I like a guy named Richard Acaster.
Oh, I think I know. I know a James Acaster.
Oh,
that's a different guy. I don't know.
Wait,
Richard.
maybe it is James Acaster. He's like a British guy with red hair.
Yeah. Do you like George Carlin?
I like George Carlin too. Yeah. He's pretty good. Richard Acaster's good because he's, like, kind of funny looking and he gets real mad.
Yeah.
And, like, he also just talks about, like, really random shit. But it's always something nice. It's always about how, like, the British Museum should, like, stop stealing people's paintings.
Yeah.
And people shouldn't, like, go to a club to cheat on their girlfriend. And also just, like, funny stuff like his town does weird soccer chants. And, like, he lives in some random-ass, like, village in England. And it's, like, funny. And he has, like, enemies who are, like, teenage boys.
Wait, I feel like I wanted to ask you more about your personal biography as a human being, and we talked a little bit about it. What do you do all day?
Man, I, like, look for students, and I learn stuff, and I think about stuff, and I, like, plan. I spend a lot of time sitting and, like, pre-planning, like, talks and lessons I'm going to give and how I'm going to word them.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with kids in the forest a lot.
Yeah.
And that's, like, a recipe for danger and chaos. So you have to literally have everything, like, pre-worded, but also be saying it, like, at random, spontaneous intervals in between stuff happening that you didn't expect to have any way to plan for.
Oh, hey, there's a parrot guy who's saying stuff. It's crazy parrot guy.
He's going to bite you.
Oh, it'll be okay.
He'll predate upon you. He's
biting
me. He's a taste for human flesh.
There he is. Crazy parrot guy.
Terrible.
Wait, crap. I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask you. Oh, yes. I want to know this. You seem like a man. You think a lot about philosophy and consciousness and all these things. Where do you believe we go when we die? Do you believe consciousness secedes and it's the same? Do you believe there's a extra dimension in which our consciousness flows, or like, what do you think?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like that's a very grain of salt question.
Yeah.
For me, the only way I can really say it is like, I feel like we go to join the ancestors and watch over the future generations of living people.
Yeah.
I feel like our body, we give back to the land, and then it becomes the bodies of our children and great-grandchildren,
Yeah.
and of other living beings.
Yeah.
And I feel like before we are born, we're sort of part of the universe in some logical or spiritual
We're
or
like
both way.
we're carbon and shit, at least.
I mean, I feel like before we're born, in a sense, we are the universe.
Yeah.
And I think in a more personal sense, I think we're like a spirit. I would define it as like a spirit. And so you sort of, when you're born, remember that shit. And that's why babies are like sort of wise looking, and why they know how to swim, and why they like learn extremely fast, and like seem to like be really like precognate and intuitive.
Dude.
And then they just sort of get really dumb.
Yeah.
And the max dumbness hits at like age 7 or so.
Yeah.
And then they start to gain more of like a human intelligence.
Bro, I love that thought idea of like babies are secretly extremely wise.
Yeah.
Because they just came from being
The
like,
universe.
the universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's cool, right? Because I feel like the most in touch with the universe you are is when you're present. You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like babies are so deeply present.
Yeah,
And they're
they
so
have nothing to
deeply
distract
connected
them.
to just like, I mean, kind of like we were talking about with the last guy, kind of the novelty of life. You know,
yeah.
everything is so novel to them.
Oh my God, that's why
You know?
I love kids. One time I was with a kid and I saw him sit down on a log, and he was like, "This is the first time I'm ever gonna sit on a mossy log." And then he sat on it, and it blew my fucking mind.
That's really nice.
I was like, "Wow, that was literally the first time he sat on a mossy log," and I saw it.
So you are an aspiring husband and stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
Very okay. So are you looking? So as a stay-at-home dad, are you looking for like do you want to date like a rich, powerful woman?
Fuck yeah. That'd be hot as hell, yeah. Little older, like more
awesome.
confident, like some gray in her hair.
That's sick.
But like still willing to have a couple kids. Definitely.
That's sick. You ever take strolls down Wall Street and whatnot?
I think those women might be a little, I don't know. Sometimes women just like aren't as corrupted by shit as guys are somehow.
Interesting.
And it seems sort of weird, but like I heard, I don't know, this weird story that like during the Russian Revolution, like the women in the Tsar's family were like pro-revolution,
Yeah.
even though they were specifically like getting executed by the revolutionaries. Like there's this idea called genealogy, which actually comes from Rojava, which ties feminism, misogyny very, very closely to all forms of oppression, and also to anarcho-primitivism and indigenous cultures,
Sure.
and to third-wave feminism and the idea of just femininity in general as being a positive trait.
Sure.
I also feel like our society sort of just takes 90% of the human experience and decides it's just for girls. We're like,
Okay, give me. Can you list? I want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Give me three
Okay.
things that you feel like should not be just for girls,
Okay.
that you feel like are societally conditioned to be just for girls.
Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Parenthood, looking attractive, and having emotions.
I honestly,
Those are basic human traits.
I have to disagree that I think those are that conditioned for women. Parenthood, I mean,
I don't know.
do you
dude.
think
When's the last time you heard the phrase paternal instincts? My paternal instincts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll hand you that. The people.
When's
don't
the
say
last
paternal
time you
instincts.
wanted a random guy you've never met to look after your 5-year-old daughter?
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
When's the last time you saw a guy my age call an 18-year-old girl cute and assume he was just like talking about her as a kid and not as like a partner? Literally never.
I'll say I don't see like the whole looking attractive thing.
Yeah.
It's true. Like cosmetic brands and whatever.
Yeah.
Most of that stuff is marketed towards women. I'll give you that. What's the third one?
The third one, just having most emotions.
Having emotions.
Most emotions.
I think men are coming around on. I think men are coming around on
They're
emotions.
coming around. It's getting better. I think all of them are getting better. Yeah, there's definitely a weird backlash going on with like the weird fucking, I don't know, like bro, guys' rights, fucking alt-right crowd. But like, I think most guys are getting better.
I think like I generally feel as though like if you're if you're a guy these days and you have like a group of like dude friends, I think most. This is just like complete anecdotally.
Yeah.
I feel this in my group of dude friends, but also, I think like younger generations too.
Yeah.
Like friends in high school and shit are willing to be like, yo, I love the homies.
Yeah.
Like willing to like tell their friends they love them, willing to like open up to their friends,
It's
I think that's something that
in.
like men are willing to do with their friends,
Yeah, it's coming. It's a little weird still. I feel like the fact that they seem to, like, guys seem to just sort of be hiding how they feel or, like, what they really think a little bit.
You think so?
Like, 90% of the time?
You think so?
A little bit?
What gives you that impression? I'll give you prove to the second two, the first two, but give me the third.
They hide, like, quite a lot behind irreverence and jadedness and humor and, like, saying fucked up stuff they don't actually believe. And they also, like, sort of are just a little bit not that serious, a little bit not that emotional. And then when they do open up, it's, like a little intense. It's like a little bit like, okay, you can take a step back. It's fine.
I don't know. Don't we all mask our emotions in some way through some sort of displacement, personality, or activity?
A little bit, but
I feel like humans humans are dynamic enough that you can be funny and say outlandish things and do whatever, and also still have a deeply emotional side to yourself.
Definitely. I think so. I think you definitely can. I think it's just being done as a defense mechanism by guys and masculine people a lot more than by women. And I think that's why when a dude like is really like, I love you, bro, like, man, this is this time I cried. It's like, it feels really intense because it's like sort of sudden.
I don't want to put a gender to this
person. It looks so cool.
That is so cool. We're surrounded by beautiful life.
Everyone,
I was gonna say, like,
cool.
do you feel like I meet so many people nowadays who are like they talk in TikToks. You know what I mean? Like they talk in, and it's men and women, and talking in memes or talking in TikToks. I feel like that's a huge
weird as fuck.
Like that's a huge I'm displacing myself from emotions.
Yeah,
thing.
Super,
do you agree with that?
Fucking weird, really weird, really weird.
Yeah.
I feel like you see that a little bit in Japanese culture, too.
Oh yeah, there's two. What is it in Japanese? There's like the two-face. There's a word for this in
really?
Japanese culture. Fuck. Somebody in the comments say it, but it's like one is like your outside face and then your inside face.
Whoa, yeah.
You ever heard of this?
I think so. Yeah. Definitely.
I don't know the word exactly, but someone in the YouTube comments will say it maybe. I've enjoyed talking to you, man. Have you handed out a lot of these pamphlets?
I just forgot I was holding that when I went to fist bump, but there's a dude who's here every day when it's way too hot out in the sunniest place imaginable, giving out free stickers and giving out pamphlets and getting people to care about the nature they're literally a part of, that they are 100% going to get fucked along with.
Can I ask you a question that comes from I've been talking a little bit today. I talked to the last guest who was on this chair about how I have two wolves in my head. I do. I have two wolves in my head. One wolf in my head loves life.
Yeah.
Very optimistic, loves the earth, loves humans. The other wolf in my head is sees, climate change and whatnot and goes, we had a good run. Why is humanity and life so important that we have to save it? That wolf exists in my head, and I ask you as somebody who cares about these things, what would you say to that wolf, and why should we care?
That story comes from a book called The Education of Little Tree, and it was written by a former Ku Klux Klan member turned anti-racist looking for redemption in the most weird blackfacey way possible.
Sure. Okay, but give me more than that. I mean, philosophically, why should we care about life?
I feel like that's both wolves at once being one wolf. Or maybe a coyote.
I guess?
Yeah, life is weird and messy and sometimes kind of fucked up, but it's still beautiful and still working forwards. And sometimes something fucked up like an ex-Klan member writing a book where he pretends to be a Native American creates a beautiful story that actual Native Americans really resonate with.
Listen, I'm not Native American, but I like the two wolves thing. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I like life today, and today's all we got. Give me your name one more time.
Arcus,
if you want to plug anything, you can. I know you said you have an Instagram.
go to my Instagram. If you can understand the words I make with my mouth, it's AOCUSAOBORI at Instagram. There's nothing fucking on it. There'll be pictures on it soon of us doing stuff in the forest. And then you can come and go in the group chats, and then you can come out and play in the forest with us.
Rock and roll.
Hell
Very
yeah.
nice to talk to you, dude.
Bye, Gecko person.
I'll see you around the universe. I'll see you around the universe.
Huh?
Good luck.
Her next.
That guy was interesting. That was a cool conversation. I feel like, what did I learn from that? I don't know. I don't know if I have. What did you say? The eyeball licking. Somebody said the eyeball licking stuff. I learned about licking eyeball. I will say, if you have someone in your life who might be willing to lick your eyeball, I recommend it. It's a fun. It feels nice. Although I remember after someone licked my eyeball, I went on Google and I was asking Google about it, and they were like, "You shouldn't do that. That can spread diseases." But what does the internet know? Have a seat. Liana, very nice to meet you.
Nice
I'm
to
Lyle.
meet you.
Liana, what's up? How's life?
Life is pretty good right now.
Very good.
This might be a downer from the last conversation, but I'm in the best relationship I've been in my whole life.
Yeah.
And I've been in nothing but bad relationships.
Okay.
But I don't know how to feel comfortable with getting the love that I'm getting.
How to feel comfortable getting the love that you're getting. Wow. Interesting. Well, I guess, I'm curious about a few things. In what way does that discomfort manifest in your physical actions? And yeah.
I'm just very defensive. I have a wall up from the past
Sure.
that I don't know how to get rid of.
Like whoever you're dating, right? They'll be like what, they'll tell you they love you, and you're like, no, I suck.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Do you have a real therapist?
Not really, no. Should I change the topic?
No. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm just curious. I'm thinking about my thoughts on this situation. I mean, how else does this manifest? Give me some examples. How do you feel as though you cannot accept this love?
Just because, I don't know how to, trust, just because I've adapted to the way.
Oh, okay, so you don't have to trust this person.
That's, one of the things, yeah.
I can only really give you my own lived experience and thoughts about trust.
Yes.
My own lived experience and thoughts about trust is, okay, so you're in this relationship, right? And how long have you been with this person?
Just a few months.
Just a few months. And I guess I would say in my own relationships with trust is in any kind of relationship, business, platonic, romantic, whatever, you kind of audit yourself to be am I doing the best job I reasonably can within my efforts? Am I having the best intentions that I reasonably can? And as long as I'm holding up my end of the deal, if this person decides to, in some way, shape, or form, betray my trust or attempt to hurt me after I've held up my end of the deal, that doesn't bother me, really. Because I feel like that's not really a reflection upon me. I don't control the evil that surrounds me. I only control a half of it. And you kind of do those things intuitively, and you don't focus so much about what comes back. Of course you yearn. Of course you want. You'd be fucking lying. I'd be lying to myself if I said I didn't want anything back. I'm not the fucking Buddha. But you have to at some point accept that what comes back is somewhat out of your control. And so the trust is less the trust that you're swinging around is less of a trust in another person and more of a trust in yourself, that you're approaching your life with as much goodwill as you possibly can, and that everything beyond that is beyond you, and you surrender to what's beyond you. Does that make any sense, or was that an insane ramble?
No, that makes sense.
All right, cool. Okay, shit, maybe I'm better at therapy than I thought.
Maybe. You're all seeing Gecko.
I am a gecko. What's your name again?
Liana.
Yeah, I'm horrible at remembering names.
That's okay.
But I feel like I get so ingrained in the conversations that I forget names.
The name is the least of your worries.
I like that you have a Harley Davidson hat on.
I've been upstate in Hicksville.
Yeah,
and it's influenced
is that where you're from?
me. No, that's where my girlfriend's from.
Oh, okay. You said it's influenced you.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been there, and I'm from Jersey, but I hang out here mostly, so it's definitely a lot different. Like, it's quiet. Everybody's like country, like really country.
Yeah.
So I've been influenced, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. You got the camo pants on.
I got the camos, the cutoff tee, like.
Is it? I feel like. Tell me if I'm crazy, but I feel like is country experiencing some kind of cultural shift where it used to be seen as like a very like it was very conservative, now it's kind of being taken back. Like I'm seeing like Brooklyn like hipster people like wearing like camo hats and cowboy boots and shit.
I mean I think a lot of people take from like the aesthetic, but when you're in like a very country area, it's very country conservative.
Sure.
So, I definitely see a lot, like especially today because it's the 4th of July. A lot of people wearing cowboy boots, American flags, camo, but nothing further than that.
Do you have any 4th of July plans tonight?
No, I wanted to see what was going on here. I thought there would be more events.
Oh, it's an event every day. Look at all this stuff.
That's true. I'm here every day mostly. And
you're here every day?
Like around.
From Jersey?
Yeah, I live one stop from Penn Station.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm here a lot, and this is kind of just like everyday summer festivities, just a lot more American flags. I thought there would be like more fun stuff, like do this for 4th of July.
If you could visualize what your perfect 4th of July would be, how would that go down?
Sitting in a pool, eating ice cream, and watching the fireworks.
I feel like you can find a place here to do that.
No, you definitely
could. You can find a place here to do that, but what you just described in Manhattan will cost at least $300.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're going to have to leave the city to do that.
By me, there's a lot to do like that, but all my friends are here, and they don't go to Jersey.
Do you go to school here?
No, I'm not in school.
Okay.
I graduated high school and said, fuck it.
Very cool. Very cool. What do you have? What do you want to do with your life?
I have no clue.
Do you have like inklings of anything that is exciting to you in any way, shape, or form, even minusculely?
Anything art related, really.
That's cool. Did you do your own tattoos?
No, these are just on the fly. I've gotten most of them like impulsively.
Who's your favorite artist?
Probably this girl, Iris Tats. That's where I got this one from.
Oh,
That's
I like
my most recent one.
That's cool.
It's from Coraline. But she was really sweet, and I love a lot of her work that she like posts about.
Really nice. Really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to be in a pool watching the fire. By the way, sorry, I know this has something to do with our conversation, but at the very beginning of sitting down, I said to myself that I would be able to ignore how hot it was by being so engrossed in the conversations that I would forget the temperature. And it's actually been working.
Oh.
I thought it wasn't going to work. I thought I'd be sweating my ass off.
It's not working for me. I feel the heat.
Am I dripping on the paint at all?
No. You've just been touching your beard, so that's where it's gone.
I have been touching my beard. Yeah. Is there someone has a megaphone?
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh man, I love the $1 water guy, man. You know what's crazy is people talk about inflation. You know, I feel like maybe I talked about this on the podcast before, but people talk about inflation, right?
You're right.
I feel like no matter how much inflation goes, the dollar water guy will always still that's his brand forever. It's gonna take another 100 years for the dollar water guy to raise his prices,
and it'll go to 125.
It'll go to one. It'll have to go to 2, right?
Maybe.
I feel like in 100. I feel like Americans, we got to get rid of coins. Our coins are just not worth anything.
That's true. I mean, I work at a very small little town bagel shop, and a lot of the older people have exact change.
Really?
So maybe in major cities like this, coins should go. but in very small towns,
Yeah.
coins just never cease to exist.
Get rid of the coins, but bring back the dollar coin. I love a dollar coin.
I feel like when I have a dollar coin, I just never use it. I just
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
It's too special.
Yeah.
Somehow I have none left.
I feel horrible that I'm going to ask you your name a third time.
Liana.
Liana.
Think like Brianna, but with an L.
You know what is so you know what's so annoying to me is I feel like I can like in that moment when I forgot your name, it's like you could quiz me on your life as the information you've told me, and I think I would get 99% of it correct except the name. That's just how my brain works.
I get it.
I know that. I know. Yeah. What you were talking about with your girlfriend. I know you live in Jersey. I know that you work in a small town.
Yes.
I know that you're not in school right now. I know you have friends who live in the city. But I would have not remembered the name. Is that bad?
No.
Do you think I'm gonna? Am I? Do you think,
I feel like knowing my life is definitely a lot more important to me than knowing my name.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Good.
It's the least of my worries. If you know me, you know me. If you know my name, it's whatever.
Liana, is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
Not really. Other than have a good summer and happy 4th.
Hags. I'll see you around the universe, Liana. Thank you very much
See
for talking
ya.
to a gecko.
Thank you.
There's a lot of really. I don't know if I don't know how much background noise you'll be able to hear on this podcast, but there's a lot of really nice music and happenings about. It's nice. What's your name, man?
I'm Sanjay.
Sanjay. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
I
Nice to
like
meet
your shirt. Your shirt says LOL, and then under it it says love of laughter.
Yeah.
What's up, Sanjay? How's life?
Good. Not much. It's been okay. How about you?
Why only okay?
I mean, it's been like mundane, but like in like a good way, you know?
Yeah, mundane life contains a lot of joy in it. Tell me about what do you do every day?
I mean, I'm a full-time student, and then I do a lot of like stand-up. So like I usually just like go to class, then like write some jokes, go to an open mic, and then like.
Oh,
yeah.
you're a stand-up.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. How's the New York stand-up scene treating you?
It's okay. It's really cool. I think it's like a lot of fun, but it's also like there's so many comics, you know?
Yeah.
So I also try to like pivot into like content and stuff like that, but
Cool.
like every other, like that's my original idea. Yeah, let me do content.
What's your dream?
I would like to be an SNL cast member. That's my dream.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are you? Can I ask?
20.
20?
Yeah.
By the time I think SNL is kind of dead, isn't it?
I mean, it has faltered. Yeah, it's not like the everyman show it used to be for sure.
I'm gonna. Well, hold on. Can I? All right. I'm gonna tell a very douchey story.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and this is why I think I might get some heat for this, but it's fine. I think wanting to be an SNL cast, but only because Sanjay.
Yeah.
Sanjay, only because I
You remembered my name.
Yeah, I do remember your name. Okay, so 2 years ago, like the internet is so much more powerful than Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But
So much more powerful. I mean, shit. Look at like fucking Shane Gillis, man.
dude,
You know,
he like came back like after.
it's when he first got fired from Saturday Night Live. Everyone was like, "This is gonna be better for his career," and I didn't believe. I was like, "Nah, he kind of got fucked."
Yeah.
And then now that everyone was right, it was better for his career.
He's
than
like
it
10
wasn't.
times as big as
He's
any
10
cast
times as
member.
big, right.
Yeah, and
Right,
he's hosting and.
So, I'm not going to name any names, and this is not in any way, shape, or form reflective of this performer themselves, but it's just about, like, SNL as it's more reflective of SNL as an institution.
Okay.
I'm not going to name this performer's name. They're very funny, but, again, it's about the institution, not the performer.
Okay.
2 years ago, I was in England
Okay.
doing a show.
Okay,
as
sick.
the therapy gecko. And, at the time, I was going viral on TikTok or whatever. And I had a sold-out show at this comedy club in England.
Okay.
And the next night after my show, there was this guy headlining who, at the time, was an SNL cast member.
Uh-huh.
And at my show, they're putting flyers for his show on the seats. And I was looking at the flyers, and I was like, damn, dude, my show was sold out.
Gecko trumps.
I'm selling more. I don't know how it would go nowadays, but at least at that time, I was like, damn, I'm selling more tickets than somebody who was on Saturday Night Live. off of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and whatnot.
Dude,
so.
Gecko trumps Lauren Michaels.
No, it's not even has nothing to do with
That's
that.
beef right here. Just
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
It's just about like, I don't know, like the goal for you is more.
Yeah.
You'll find more success on like YouTube and.
yeah.
Twitter and
Well, I
shit
want to
than
be
you
a
will on-
comedian. I also want to like create a TV show. Those are two
Right.
big things.
But what the fuck is a TV show?
Yeah.
Is this a TV show?
I think it could be. Well,
It
no.
is. It's a fun. It's people. Nobody watches TV. I don't know.
I just watch Family Guy clip by clip. That's my TV on TikTok. That's why.
Yeah, but you watch it on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like the old guard of like I want to be on SNL or have a TV show. It's like all that shit's dead.
Dude, it's like a double-edged sword because it's like so many people. It's like anybody can do it, but now so many more people are doing it.
It's good.
Yeah, it's great.
It democratized the media landscape.
Yeah.
In a way.
I mean, I think that's always something I've always wondered. I'm like, how many people you think were more talented than like a Dave Chappelle or like, like a Chris Rock or like, like a CK, but they just never or like never got seen in the right room or whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, bro, that's how it goes. Or in comedy, but also like any kind of art. It's less about art and more about like, it's a combination of like good taste and talent and good
luck.
marketing opportunities and luck.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a third of each of those things.
It's kind of like, do you watch the NBA?
No.
Oh, okay. There's like a story of like one of like this European basketball player who was like head and shoulders above the rest, would have like a 40-point triple-double at halftime in Europe. And they wanted him to come to the NBA. They said he'd be better than like Jordan and like all these guys. But like he couldn't come for 10 years because of his visa. And by the time he finally came, he was like old. So like, and he was still like really good. I think I forgot it's like a Sabonis something. But like the question is like how how many people are there like that where they just like never made it to the NBA because of some like miscellaneous reason, but we're like more talented than anybody there.
Yeah. Well, comedy's a little weird because the talent is all subjective.
Yeah.
And different people are kind of for different audiences and.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like that about art though too. Like I don't think art's about like talent. I think it's about moments. Like I think anyone can shine in their moment. You know?
Yeah. It's about moment, and momentum is also about literally about moments.
Like there's moments where Leonardo DiCaprio will be the worst actor in the world. And there's moments where some guy from like getting a BFA could be like the most talented actor just in that specific moment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all random.
Like it all just clicks and it just comes together.
Are you having fun?
In life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah,
I think
good.
I'm having fun. I think like staying busy is like the most fun that I have.
Oh yeah. If you don't stay busy, you'll start to ask questions you were never meant to ask.
You got to hear your own voice. That's the scariest. That's the scariest medium.
Well, shit, Sanjay. It was good talking to you.
Great talking to you
Is there
too,
anything
man.
else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
You guys should follow me on my stand-up comedy account. It's called Sanjay Does Stand Up. SANJAY does stand up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you around the universe.
I'm looking forward to you selling more tickets than me when I get on SNL.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Take care, man.
Great to talk to you, man.
Hello there. Have a seat. What is your name?
I'm Rachel.
Rachel, nice to meet you. What's up? How's life? What's going on?
So yesterday, I learned that my friend is a kleptomania.
Oh, interesting. For those who don't know what that is, I think I know what it is. A kleptomaniac is somebody who is addicted to stealing.
Yeah, he's banned from Canada apparently, which sucks because I live in Canada. But yeah, he just I've been friends with him for a couple weeks, and he just told me that he likes to steal things.
What kind of things?
Really random things like caution tape and just like little knickknacks, but nothing that valuable.
Sure.
But he gets off on it.
How long have you been friends with this guy?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. How'd you guys meet?
We met in front of the comedy shop.
What's the comedy shop?
It's
is that
on
in
Bleecker,
Canada?
on Bleecker Street.
Oh, I didn't know there was is that a new comedy club?
I'm not sure. I've only been here for a little while.
Okay. So you met a friend outside of a comedy shop, and then when he told you he was a kleptomaniac, did that make you look at him differently?
I got a little scared. I'm like, do I want to invite this guy over?
Right.
Or should he be just like an outside friend?
Has he stolen anything from you in the time that you've...
Not that I know of, but...
I guess from the way you've described this guy, it sounds like if he were to steal things from you, it would be things you wouldn't even notice were gone. Like,
yeah, it'd be like my floss.
I was literally going to say floss.
Yeah, my gums would get so bad, I wouldn't know why.
Yeah. Do you have do you own anything that you think is in that rung of not importance, but is important to you?
Like that I would notice is gone, or that I wouldn't?
Things that are kind of objectively seen as not important, but that you would find important.
My cheese grater.
Ooh, that's a great answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if this guy stole your cheese grater, friendship over.
I would know.
How many? Oh, wait, let me ask you this. All right, so you've been friends with this guy for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Although, how often have you hung out with him in those 3 weeks?
Well, I've seen him 3 times or
Okay.
4 times maybe.
Okay.
We went to do improv together, which was
Okay.
fun.
How fast until, because I got to say, like, he's your friend. Like how, that was a fast declaration. You know, how fast
I
does
know
someone
that
become friends?
People normally say acquaintance,
Yeah.
but I just like skip over that. And
I like that.
Like
I
we're
like
friends
that.
now. Like you can come over if you want. I'll make you tea.
I feel like you feel like we like this was enough interaction for us to be labeled friends. in this
Probably
moment.
not. The more I think about it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like, what does it take to be friends? Like, what do you think?
I feel like if you and I inhabited the same space regularly over a somewhat extended period of time, and throughout that period of time had extended amounts of conversations, or hung out either in a group or as one-on-one, we would then develop a friendship. But this is not, I don't think, long enough for us to
So I have to come back.
become friends. So you have to come back?
Yeah. Like
I guess in order for us to be friends. Although actually, you know what? The guy at the very beginning, who I saw him over there, and he had
the table.
the table. If I saw him again, I would be like, "Yo, that's my boy." Although if I saw you here at this park again,
You probably wouldn't recognize me because I look like
maybe I would.
just like a brown
I'd be
hair.
like, "Hey, yo, I remember you. We talked. What's your name?" I still actually don't know your name. What's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel.
What's your name?
Lyle.
Lyle.
So are you going to continue to be friends with this person?
I waited a little too long, so probably it's going to be a distant friend.
Okay.
Like I'll go do improv or if we're in a group setting, but he's not getting an invite over for
Sure.
a dinner party type situation.
So are you a comedian?
No.
What were you doing outside of a comedy club?
So my friend's on Love Island and
Your friend is on Love
is
Island?
on Love Island, and I don't have. At the time, I didn't know that my roommate had Peacock, which is a streaming service that Love Island's on.
Yeah.
So I just left a date, and I was walking somewhere else to take the subway home, and I passed by, and they have a big screen every night showing Love Island.
Who's your friend that's on Love Island?
Elon.
I don't watch Love Island. Elon?
Elon.
Elon.
Yeah.
What does she look like?
He.
What does he look like?
Jewish looking. He's got a fro. Yeah.
Are you also Jewish?
I'm also Jewish.
L'chaim.
What are you doing for Shabbat?
What am I doing for Shabbat?
Yeah.
It's not. Well, I don't really do stuff for Shabbat. I just What are you doing for Shabbat?
I just got invited an hour ago to a rooftop
For Shabbat?
for Shabbat.
Wait, really? Where?
You want to come?
Maybe. Yeah. Where is it?
It's at this guy's apartment, and it has a really good view of the Williamsburg Bridge.
Wait, I actually kind of do want to.
You could be my +1.
Wait, really? Are you serious?
100%.
Okay, I'm actually kind of down.
I think that'd be
where is it?
awesome.
It's in Williamsburg. Okay, we'll talk. We can talk after.
I just don't want to peep the address
It's
to
all right,
everyone.
we can talk after. Okay, so
But for real, you can
what was
come.
the theme of your bat mitzvah?
Mine was I'm not like the other Jewish girls. I didn't want the big party, so I just had 3 limos, really casual, and we
Yo, I know exactly what your house looks like.
really.
Yeah, I feel like just by you saying that, I know exactly what the interior of your house looks like.
Okay, tell me about it.
I can't visually describe. I can't describe it.
Are you just trying to come see my house?
No, I'm just not like the house you grew up in. I assume. Did you grow up in a Jewish neighborhood?
I did, but are we talking I lived in one house until I was 5, and then another one from 5 on. So which one are we talking about here?
I guess the 5 on one.
Good choice.
Did you actually have 3 limos at your bat mitzvah?
I did.
Well, tell me more about your bat mitzvah. What else
So-
was going on?
It was kind of interesting because at the time, I could only be in one limo. You can't put me in all limos.
Sure.
So you knew the girls and the people in my limo were my fucking favorite people.
Oh no! Did that make the people in the other limos feel bad?
I feel like they were a little dumb because they're like 12.
Okay.
So but like maybe
Was
they
everyone
knew.
you invited at least somebody that you liked, or did you have any like forced invites?
No forced invites. No, it was only 45 people. So it was all people that I liked or that were more of my acquaintances, but
Sure.
my core people were in my limo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of like stuff for the Jewish holidays?
No.
Yeah, me either. Although I'll say
Except tonight for Shabbat.
I am in for tonight for Shabbat. It sounds fun.
But you got like, are you gonna change? Are you gonna put on a kippah?
I'll put on a kippah.
Yeah,
I'll put
but
on a
keep
kippah.
the fit.
Kippah's not gonna fit on this.
We can get you a big kippah.
Okay.
I know a
If
guy.
you can find a big enough kippah, I'd be down. But well, I was gonna say do women do tefillin?
No.
Because I'm always getting clocked by like if I'm walking around Williamsburg, like I always get clocked by the tefillin dudes. Do you? I guess. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like when you walk around Williamsburg, like if you're a guy and you look Jewish enough, like a Orthodox Jewish guy will come up to you and be like, "Hey, have you prayed today?"
I mean, someone once stopped me on the street and gave me candles.
Yeah.
Is that
shit
what
like
it feels
yeah,
like?
Yeah, it's shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they ask you if you were Jewish?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they do it?
They
How do
can smell
clock it?
us.
I
We smell like gefilte fish.
Could you tell that I'm Jewish?
I assumed, but I didn't want to like assume wrong, so I just didn't say anything.
You assumed I was Jewish before I said anything.
Yeah.
What made you feel that way?
You're just like super weird. You know?
I appreciate that. I take that as a
'Cause,
compliment.
like I'm also super weird,
Okay.
so that's how I knew.
What is super weird about you?
Wow. Trying to think about the difference between weird and cool. I think
You don't have to think about that.
Okay.
You can just tell
What is
whatever
weird
the truth
about
is.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, when I match with someone on a dating app and get to know them,
Uh-huh.
my first thing is I suggest a call. People are really thrown off.
I do the same thing.
Yeah?
Yeah. After a
Oh.
few messages, after a few messages, I'll be like, hey, would you actually want to do a video chat?
Yeah.
Because like you can only, and I think like it's good for a few reasons. Is it's very efficient. It's efficient for both you and the because neither you nor the person you're talking to wants to spend a whole fucking evening of their life with somebody
Who has a really weird voice.
who has a really annoying voice.
Yep.
Or looks different from their photos. See, the video chat is like, for both ends, it's I get to go, hey, here's what I look like today. Here's
But
what I sound like.
I have a question for you.
Here's a little bit of here's like a preview. And after this little low effort preview, 15 minutes. I'm keeping it to 15 minutes. I'm on my couch. She's on her couch. We don't have to leave. We don't have to spend any money. We don't have to do anything. And then if the vibe is good, we upgrade it to an in-person meet.
So during the call,
Yes.
Are you
Am I in the suit?
decked out?
I'm not gecked out, but occasionally I'll
Wait,
have...
did you say gecked out?
Yeah.
Like gecked out?
Yeah.
I like that. Did you just
I'm
come up with
I'm
that?
a gecko.
Did you just say that for the first time? The gecked out?
That's kind of how I refer to, like, being in the costume.
It's cool.
Fuck, what the hell was I going to say?
You're talking about being on the couch.
Oh, yeah. But no, I've very much enjoyed the pre...
Yeah, you don't waste
'cause also,
anyone's
like,
time.
Also, like, if I'm on a first date, it requires a lot of energy, I think, to go on a first date.
Not
you
if
know.
it's with the right person, to be honest. I think a good date with the right person should give you energy.
I quasi agree with that. I think, however, my energy is half. I'm not going to put like a full number to it. I won't say half, but part of part of my energy is, yes, you're right, how the other person's energy is, and then part of it is just like how I'm feeling. And I think like to go on a date and like if I'm going on a date and I like care, it's like I'm throwing all my best stories out there. I'm attempting to channel. Like, okay, I have a strong range in my personality.
Okay, tell me more.
I'm under certain conditions. Under certain conditions, I'm the coolest, funniest, most charismatic guy ever. Like under certain phases of the moon, certain amounts of Vyvanse or coffee or like how my day was feeling. Okay, like I can reach that pinnacle, and then I can also be like just like dreadful to be around, and just be like very socially awkward and have no energy and extremely timid and extremely like depressed or anxious, you know. And it's like I have a strong range, you know. And I feel like if I'm on a first date, you know, and I care or whatever, I'll attempt. I mean, actually, I feel like where I land on any given day in that range is actually something that feels out of my control in many ways. I've attempted to solve for X. How, in what conditions do I feel the most energized?
When do you feel the most energized?
Around 2 p.m. on a day that I took my Vyvanse at 10 a.m. on a day where I'm around other people, and you know, in settings like I feel very energized by settings like these, you know, where I'm around other people in life and stuff. Like right now, I feel extremely energized. But you know, if it's like 10 p.m. and I smoked a bunch of weed and I felt like shit all day, I'm not going to be energized. You know, so I have a strong range in my energy. But I don't. So again, I just went on a whole rant. But I think doing a call is not weird. I think people appreciate it. I think a call is good. So let me ask you this. Okay, so you do a call.
Yep.
How many, mathematically, how many of your calls have resulted in, like, in-person meetups?
Maybe 50%. Some calls have been very weird.
In what way?
One guy had like a dog named Chicken, and he brought his dog on the call, and he's like, "Look, Chicken can howl." And then he's like makes a noise at Chicken, and Chicken starts howling. And then a lot of the times, this is the weird thing. Okay.
Wait. Before you get into that, you did not like when he made the chicken howl.
It was
because you proudly identified as weird, and so I assumed
It was weird, but in that moment, I was like, okay, it's weird, but I can get like, it's kind of like a quirk. It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, sure.
The deal breaker was, here's an interesting thing I do.
Hit me, yeah.
With guys that I'm talking to, it's kind of a tell that I'm not that into them. I'll suggest we like look at each other's matches. Because don't you ever want to like know what your competition is?
Why is that a tell that you're not that into them? Because I have a different perspective on that.
Maybe it's not a tell, but maybe it's like, it's a little bit more on the I don't care side, which comes out more when you're not interested.
Why is that on the I don't care? Okay, here's what I think. Is, like, I think that, like, when you're like, oh, let me see your matches, or like, let me see your conversation, I think that's very vulnerable. You know, like, that's a vulnerable thing to like show someone. Is
it vulnerable? Because you're just showing like all the attention you get from other people.
I don't know. I think that like
depends on the guy. Like if it's someone who doesn't have a lot of matches, then maybe it's not the best look. But if it's someone who has a lot of matches, then
maybe. I think that like there's something. It's like there's vulnerability within those conversations, and also look, there is vulnerability in like the thing that you're. What I think, if I correctly understand the reason why you believe it is a tell that you're not that interested, that same reason, if I correctly understand it, would be to me a display of vulnerability. And I think displays of vulnerability bring people closer together. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but
with what you just said, I agree that it brings people together. But for people who are truly afraid of vulnerability, it almost like it can pull someone towards you because they're like, wow, like you're really vulnerable and that's cool and I want to be more vulnerable, so I'm going to come closer.
Yeah.
But then some people it's like, wow, I don't know what that is because I was like taught to be tough, so vulnerability scares me and it can make people leave.
Interesting. Well, so it's a litmus test in that sense.
It's a litmus test of how comfortable someone is with being uncomfortable.
Okay, so 50% of these phone calls ended in in-person things. Okay, so did you have any other weird phone calls besides the guy making his dog bark?
I'm sure I have.
Did you meet up with the dog bark guy?
No.
How soon into meeting someone, whether it's on a phone date or a real date, can you instinctively tell whether or not you like them?
I would say within 5 minutes, if not less.
Okay, and after 5 minutes, okay, let's say like, all right, right now I'm hovering my hand here for those listening on audio.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm up here,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's neutral, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so does it take you 5 minutes to go from neutral to I don't like them? Versus can it take you 5 minutes to go from neutral to I like them? Or do you get what I'm asking you?
No.
Okay, like, because you can very clearly, okay, I guess what I'm asking you is, you can pretty easily tell if you don't like someone within 5 minutes.
So there's just
but is 5 minutes enough time for you to tell if you do actively like someone? You know what I'm saying now?
So I'm a different case.
Okay.
When I decide that I like someone, I almost immediately, like once I've decided, it's done. They have to like be really fucked up.
Dude, I think that's the thing about a lot of dates is like, I don't know if I'll put a gender on it, but like I think like maybe I will. Like for I think for a lot of guys, it's like a date is like it's only your game to lose.
Can you explain that?
Like what you just said. If I like someone, it's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I say like it's only your game to lose, it's like I assume when you like someone, it's done, unless if they actively do something that is
But
like very
honestly,
weird
they could actively
or
do
bad.
something weird,
Yeah.
but it have to be like really, really fucked up.
Okay.
Like they have to kill someone.
Really? That's it?
Like once the times that I've decided about someone,
Uh-huh.
and I was so confident, except like maybe once or twice, they're the ones that have to end it.
And you made that decision in 5 minutes. What information did you have? What information did
maybe
you get
not
in those
5
minutes?
maybe not 5. Hanging out together once,
Sure.
and then I've decided.
Sure. What information do you gather that makes you like someone or not like someone?
It's honestly a lot of it's energy.
Sure.
Are they confident? Do they know who they are? Do you feel safe around them?
Sure.
And then there are certain things just like icks about their voice. Like, do they have a really weird voice, or do they have any really intense views on things?
Sure. Is there anything else that you
I have things to share.
do? You yeah? Is there anything else you want to share? Do you feel satisfied with this conversation, or is there anything that you would want?
Well,
to
how are
add
you
to it?
feeling?
I feel pretty good. I feel like this was a good hour and 50 minutes for me. I started today. I was like taking phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I normally do this podcast. But I was doing that for 20 minutes, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. I have to go outside. And so now I am here.
I have
I feel
something.
like this went much better than
It went better
phone calls,
than
yeah.
you thought?
I feel like it went much better than I thought.
So, I have a hot take,
Hot take.
and let me know what you think.
Go crazy.
In New York, the coolest things are either downstairs or upstairs.
I like that hot take. I
But-
think if you go down a flight of stairs for something,
It's
you're
cool.
getting into something.
Like Comedy Cellar, cool. Smalls, cool.
What is Smalls?
The Jazz Club?
Oh, I've never been there.
Damn. I'm sure there's more.
I agree with that.
And
I think
upstairs is cool too.
I prefer a downstairs than an upstairs, but an upstairs is cool. It means you. Oh, there's the fucking. Yeah, there he is. I love that guy. Okay, if you were only listening on audio, there's a guy who rides around town balancing a tire on his head, and he just drove by, and I got really excited.
So, like, what's your dinner party trick that you're going to pull out at the Shabbat dinner tonight?
Oh shit! What's my dinner party trick that I'll pull out at the Shabbat dinner tonight? Maybe I'll bring a pen and I'll be like, "Do you want to play?" I'm thinking of like something quirky I can do. I can be like, I'll bring a pen and be like, "Hey, do you want to play tic-tac-toe on my arm?" No, that's weird, right?
No.
Okay. Well, what's your party trick? Do you have one?
My party trick. I can balance a broom on my finger, but I feel like a lot of people could do that.
A lot of people cannot do that.
They can't?
No.
I'm a good dancer.
Okay.
I can sing. I can like crack out some Amy Winehouse.
Is there anything that I should be prepared for this Shabbat dinner tonight? Do I need to bring something?
I don't know. Like, that's the one thing. Like, I'm an adult now, and I know you're supposed to bring things to dinner parties.
Okay.
But, like, what's the rule on that if you get invited after 3:30 p.m. and the party's at 7:30? Like, are you exempt?
I think we'll probably be fine. Who invited you?
Some person.
Okay.
It's his birthday tomorrow.
Okay.
We
Okay.
could, like, go halvesies on some flowers, maybe.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could bring
Champagne.
No, I was gonna say we should bring rainbow cookies.
Yeah.
It's a very Jewish food.
Or, like, rugula.
It's like a little like bites of cake with rainbow and like.
Those are always a hit.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
But I feel like most of the Jewish places are closed right now.
We get black and white cookies.
Yeah.
That could be cool. Is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
No.
You really nothing? You don't have anything? Oh, there he is again. I love this guy. I'm gonna give him $1.
Oh.
What? You have nothing? Nothing you want to say? You don't have to. It's up to you.
Yeah,
You
I
can
actually
abstain.
have something to say.
Hit me.
But I want to. Can I look it up? Do I have a second?
Sure.
Okay.
Wait, what are you? Where are you? Is it like something from the internet? Or
It's
like
a
quote?
name of something.
Oh, sure.
Is that
Oh,
okay?
yeah. You have a promote. You have something you want to promote?
Yeah, but it's not for me.
Okay. Who's it for?
It's a friend.
Okay.
Well, I met him once.
You have
so-
so much. You probably have so many friends, man.
Give me 1 second.
What do we know? Okay. Can I ask you what is the thing?
He made a book,
Oh,
and it's a really cool book. I think he would honestly be a really cool person for you to interview.
cool.
It's called. I think it's called Questions. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's called Questions for Humanity or Questions Something Humanity.
Okay.
And he went around the world and he asked people if you could ask one question to humanity, any question, what would you ask? And it's a mix of, he took pictures for the book of the people he met along the way, and he included what their answers were. And he sometimes goes on the street and asks people. And I just think that that's a really cool book and really cool.
Oh, hello. What is this about? Oh, wait. We're almost done. And then I'll tell you all about it. Wait. Oh yes, we were just talking about you guys.
Do you have some to fill in for us?
Oh.
Should we wrap him up?
Wait. Oh wait. Okay. All right. That is actually
Wait,
that is actually extremely. Okay. I'm gonna give some context for the audio listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So earlier I was just talking about how occasionally, as I'm walking through Williamsburg, a Jewish gentleman will clock me that I am Jewish and ask me to do the tefillin. And that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, okay. Can I do it off? Can I do it after we're
No,
after we're
you
done?
should do it in the frog suit.
Can I do it? Can I do it after we're done?
You do it on camera, explain to people what it is.
That's
gonna be something cool.
You don't need to
No,
include
sorry.
it.
I want to just finish up, but I'll do it afterwards.
Do it on camera afterwards. On camera.
Let me finish real quick, and then we'll do it. Okay, cool. Okay, what was the thing you wanted to
I
talk
want
about?
to drop his name.
Drop the name of the thing. We're in big post game podcast right now. We
Okay.
gotta end this thing. It's
So-
been too. Here we go. Okay, hit us with the self promotion.
So it's not for me, but it's for.
I guess it's not self promotion. Hit us
It's
with
a-
the friend promotion.
It's called Questions to Humanity, and it is a coffee table book that has questions. This friend of mine went around the world and asked different people if they could ask humanity one question, what would they ask? And he took pictures of them, and it's just a really interesting project, so you should check it out. And also, I will drop my Instagram. It is Rachel Himmel, RachelHimmel. This was fun.
Rock and roll. Rachel, nice to meet you. Thank
Nice
you
to
very
meet
much for
you.
talking to a gecko. This has been Being a Gecko in the Park in real life. This was great. What a fun day talking to people. If you're listening to this, it's over now. Go outside. Go outside.
Touch some grass.
Go touch some grass. Do something with your life or not. You don't have to. You don't ever have to do anything. Subscribe or don't. Do something or don't do something.
Call your mom.
Call
Tell her
your
you
mom.
love her.
Geck bless you all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again at another time and place on the internet or in the afterlife. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you very much for watching.